Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to talk about the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States, how the US is continuing to embrace cryptocurrencies and developing a regulatory framework around digital assets. And of course, we're going to go through the crypto market update. Let's go ahead and start with that right now. You can see that Bitcoin is currently trading at $114,364. It's down about 4% over the past week, and obviously this is normal. We are going to see some volatility. Bitcoin reached all-time highs above 123,000. Now we're pulling back a bit. We could have some more turbulence potentially over the next couple of months. Usually August and September historically has been months that tend to trade down a little bit for a number of reasons. Same thing with the stock market as well. But we'll continue to keep you posted, obviously, here on Networkchain on YouTube as well as on IG and X. So make sure to keep posted there. Let's go ahead and keep going with Ethereum, currently trading just under 3,500. It's down almost 10%, actually 9.23% currently at time of recording. XRP down over 9%. BNB down nearly 9%. Solana over 13% down at $162 trading right now. Tron down, or actually it's up 1%. Dogecoin down nearly 17%, is trading just under 20 cents. Cardano rounding out the top 10, and it's down over 12%, currently trading at 72 cents. So some of the major news stories that came out of the SEC over the past week is that the SEC chairman has released a number of press releases related to cryptocurrencies and redemptions and in-kind creations for crypto exchange traded products. So the ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs as well as the Ethereum ETFs that have been trading since last year have accumulated billions and billions of dollars and have done very well. Some of the best ETFs on the planet when it comes to the returns that is provided for investors over the last year and a half. And now we're seeing that the SEC, at least for right now, it's going to be authorized participants, which is a lot of institutional investors, but it's going to permit for in-kind redemption. So basically what that means is generally when you have a Bitcoin ETF share, you can trade that for cash. You basically would get USD, for example. But now if you want to trade for the Bitcoin that it represents, then you can trade it in for Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin ETF represents a certain amount of Bitcoin. And so now you would be able to redeem that ETF share for that amount of Bitcoin. So it's great to have that optionality to be able to have the opportunity to get cash if you want to get cash, get fiat currency, but also if you want to continue to just stack and hold, say you want to take your Bitcoin ETF shares, trade them in for Bitcoin, and then transfer that over to a cold wallet so you can have your own self-custody as opposed to BlackRock or Fidelity or Bitwise or whoever you have your Bitcoin ETF shares through. You now have that choice to be able to do so. So the SEC just had that release, press release on July 29th, basically just saying what I mentioned with regards to the ability for these approvals continue to build a rational, you can see, regulatory framework for crypto, leading to a deeper and more dynamic market, which will benefit all American investors. This decision aligns with the standard practices for similar exchange traded products. So basically, we're seeing that cryptocurrencies, digital assets are starting to get some of the same treatment as other assets that people invest in. So it's basically just continuing to show the legitimacy in the eyes of the United States government and also other governments around the world that are beginning to embrace cryptocurrencies and the economy that is building on top of blockchain technology. So it's just another indicator of where this asset class is going. So that's why we continue to make these videos to not only learn ourselves, but to also pass these messages forward so people can understand exactly what is being created and what is being built and developed as we move forward in these different types of economies that people like me and you are transacting in. Also, another major press release that recently came out from the chairman of the SEC, Paul Atkins, is the crypto, they call it Project Crypto. So you can see here it's titled American Leadership in Digital Finance Revolution. So this is an indication of the United States wanting to be ahead when it comes to digital assets, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and embracing blockchain technology. They do see it as the future. So if you see that one of the largest governments in the world is embracing this asset class, then you can see that there's a possibility that this asset class can continue to grow. So if it's something that you have decided or interested in investing in, it's definitely an emerging technology. And we're seeing that the United States is actually starting to put legislation into law when we look at the Genius Act, which we've talked about before, which is providing a regulatory framework when it comes to stablecoins. Some people have said, including representatives from the United States, have said that the stablecoin market could be worth trillions of dollars. Currently, it's not worth trillions of dollars. So if that money is going to be coming onto the blockchain, coming into the digital asset economy, it goes to show that this continues to have the opportunity to grow massively from where we are today. So you can go ahead and read fully this entire press release. We won't go into it, but these are some of the takeaways that we took from Project Crypto. And you can see here that in accord with the president's working group report, which came out also recently, the commission is being staffed to draft clear and simple rules of the road for crypto asset distributions, custody, and trading for public notice and comment. While the commission staff works to finalize these regulations, the commission and its staff will in the coming months consider using interpretive, exemptive, and other authorities to make sure the archaic rules and regulations do not smother innovation and entrepreneurship in America. So basically they're saying this because they want to have companies be built here in the United States. One of the reasons why the U.S. markets are considered one of the greatest in the world is because there's been a lot of innovation that has happened on US soil, and US companies. When you look at the top companies, publicly traded companies in the world, most of them are from the United States. When you look at an Apple, when you look at an Nvidia, when you look at a Meta, that type of innovation has been encouraged and has bloomed here in the United States. And so they're trying to be able to make sure that that continues with digital assets, with blockchain technology. So you can see also he said that he has directed the staff to develop clear guidelines and that market participants can use to determine whether a crypto asset is subject to being considered an investment contract. And their goal is to help market participants to slot crypto assets into categories such as digital collectibles. When we think of NFTs, for example, digital commodities when it comes to Bitcoin, which is considered a commodity, or stable coins. So they're trying to make sure that they're able to come up with a framework so people can have an understanding if they do decide to invest in any of these types of assets, what would it be categorized as? Is it a commodity? Is it going to be considered a security? So you can see that we need a regulatory framework for crypto asset securities that allow these products to flourish within American markets. Many issuers will prefer the flexibility in product design that the securities laws afford, and investors will benefit from the opportunity to earn distributions, voting rights, and other features typical of securities. So there's nothing wrong with being labeled a security. For example, when you're buying and trading stocks on the stock market, those are considered securities, but there are certain rules and regulations that come with that. And so it's fine for some of these digital assets to be considered securities, but if they are, it's necessary to know what is considered a security, what is considered something else. So that's what the SEC and their working group is going to be working on. And so you can see here, if we continue to go down further, just, looking at some of the subject heading here, they're trying to make sure that there's information with regards to the on-chain software systems. They're fostering innovation in terms of commercial viability. And so you can see here, as they advance their priorities, they're looking forward to working with the counterparts across the United States administration to make sure that the United States is the crypto capital of the world. Let me say that again. They want to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. Crypto. So, as we've talked about cryptocurrencies being an emerging market for several years now, this is just another reason why we are bullish when it comes to Bitcoin and when it comes to cryptocurrencies and the development of various applications and products on top of blockchain technology. So another indicator here, we see PayPal, one of the largest payment rail platforms. They just recently made their announcement with regards to pay with crypto, and it's powered by PayPal. Basically, they're now allowing merchants, which includes over a $3 trillion market, as you can see here. They're going to be enabling instant crypto to stablecoin or fiat conversion. So now these merchants are able to accept cryptocurrencies. They're going to include over 100 cryptocurrencies. As we know, there's tons of cryptocurrencies out there, but they're going to be accepting, we don't know the full list yet of which cryptocurrencies they're going to be accepting, but of course they're going to be accepting things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably Solana, Polkadot, Cardano. So this once again just reiterates the fact that this is an expanding global commerce that's going to include digital assets. So we want to make sure that you are familiar with what's going on right here and now. Also, what's going to happen in the future, because that's why we invest, because we want to invest in the future. That's where we see our dollars potentially exponentially grow and turn into digital assets, which will continue to grow as that economy is being built. So make sure to keep it locked here at Networkchain, not only on YouTube, but as well as X and IG. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.